Okay. I hit streaming.
Are we live?
I think so. Let's see if
Oh,
it
I need
pops
to get
up
on.
over there. Should be good. Yeah.
Heyo.
We out here.
Oh man, we live, right?
Live,
All
baby.
right. Well, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Natural State of Mind Disc Golf Podcast. We're in Casa de Mike.
Casa de May, baby.
Casa de May. He's very nice. Very cool setup, man. Thanks for letting us do it here.
Absolutely,
Wolford's,
dude.
unavailable tonight,
Shame.
and that's okay.
Shame on you,
shame.
Wolford.
But
Yep.
we've got some cool stuff to talk about. We want to keep this thing rolling on Sundays.
Heck yeah. And I didn't get to be here last week, so I needed to be here this week.
Yeah, do you want to say, anything about you're doing all right
I'm
health-wise?
doing better. I
Good,
sound
good.
a lot better. About this time last week, I couldn't even barely talk. Long story short, I had to go to the ER because I was spitting up blood. Tonsil issue. Got it figured out.
I still have my tonsils.
Yeah, me too.
I feel like that's
and-
going to be an issue someday.
Yep. That's why I'm getting mine taken out at the beginning of next year.
Right on, man. Well, I have been thinking about that ever since. I might be doing the same, or at least going to get them checked out.
It's not a bad idea.
All right. Well, good to know. I'm actually logging on so I can see some questions. But yeah, we've got some cool stuff to talk about. Man, it's wintertime, golf time. Today kind of showed us that. It was cold
Yeah.
and windy. So,
What a hell of a combination.
yes.
Might be my least favorite combination playing ever.
I agree. I wouldn't have wanted to be playing at Persimmon in a sanctioned tournament today.
It'd be miserable. I mean, that's kind of how it was last year during Natural State Open at this side. Playing a long course in the freezing cold. It was like a high of 35 with 20-mile-an-hour winds.
Oh, yeah.
It was not ideal.
Oh, man. Let's see. Oops, sorry. I was trying to. Ooh.
Also, if anybody's in the chat, let us know how we sound. If we sound terrible, let me know and I can fix it. But I got a feeling this should be the best sounding one yet.
Yeah, man. When we did when we were testing it out, it sounded great. So I'm feeling good about it. Yes, it's me. Thank you for. I like how at least it's it's making sure it's cool. So, but yeah, so it had there was a 1-round tournament on Saturday.
Yep.
And you played it.
Sure did.
I did not. I didn't have time to, unfortunately. But I had another obligation to get to that was way more important to me than sucking at disc golf on Saturday.
Hey,
So,
that could have been your turnaround round, though.
dude, it could have been, yeah.
It could have been because scores honestly weren't that hot out there.
Yeah. So what'd you shoot?
So I shot 5 under, which I think was the hot round by 1 stroke. I think the other guy in my division, Elijah, shot 4, which was kind of fun because we were on the same card. So we kind of got to battle a little bit at the end because the first 9 to 12 holes was very just like laissez-faire. We're just kind of goofing off, having fun. And then, those last 6 holes or so is when you start to check the scores and you start to realize, oh, we're kind of in a dogfight here.
Yeah.
And you realize like who is in contention, and the other MA1 card was directly behind us, and we had such bad backups the whole tournament that like I could see what they were doing at the same time.
Right.
So I think when we got to like our few of our final holes, I knew me, Elijah, and Jonathan Underwood were like pretty much neck and neck. We were pretty much all like, I don't even know, 1 to 2 under.
Yeah.
And then I saw he bogeyed 18, and then I was like, okay, it's my time. And I birdied 1, 2, and 3, and that was
Nice, man. Yeah. Because that's not really your course. And we've had that conversation. We played out there together plenty of times.
It is the one that if you ever need to face me in match play, I'll tell you right now, you need to go take me to Sherwood.
Now you know for next year. So, yeah, we're talking about Sherwood. So that was the Sherwood Classic, one of Chris Alcott's tournaments. Love Sherwood as far as a course. It's fun. So challenging shots.
Yeah. I was a little nervous about it playing a rated round out there for many reasons. 1, because I suck at it. 2, because it's one of those courses that I feel like the reason why a lot of people like it is because it is a very scoreable track. It can be. It's got a lot of very short little technical holes that if you're accurate, you can really put up a hot number. And I feel like ranges of all skill levels can kind of be compacted at that course. So I kind of thought going into it, the ratings weren't going to be that great, but they actually turned out to be really good.
Yeah, what was yours? 991?
Yeah, I think it got up to 993 at one point, but I don't remember. I think it probably leveled out at 991, which to me, 5 under, especially if you know Sherwood, you're thinking 5 under is so doable.
Yeah.
Anytime you go out there. And that's where I was at, was like, I thought, 5 under, at least it gets me the win, but it's going to rate like 950.
Yeah.
It's kind of what I was thinking.
I was too, actually, when I looked it up and saw that you were the hot round. Then I looked at the pro and I was like, well, 3 down was the hot round.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Stefan. Good win, Stefan, by the way. First, pro win, I think.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah. Shout out. So, yeah, you're right. That's a course that, I could have gone out and possibly shot super well on that. I have before. And, just wasn't going to do it that day.
Hey, you don't know that, though.
That's right. You don't.
You never know. But that's one of those courses that you could legitimately go out there and somebody could shoot 10 under and I wouldn't be surprised.
Right.
It's
yeah,
just
absolutely.
you got to be throwing the right disc, and I'm going to say it because I have to say it. You got to be getting some good breaks.
You're right. We were talking about that when we were playing out there Friday,
Yep.
right? When we played with David. A player could go out there and just go through every, through the left side of the fairway. That's the most wooded area with all the baby trees and not touch a thing.
Yep, that's the nature of woods golf.
Yeah.
Or like crazy kicks. Like I saw Lucas Murray on hole 14, the par 4.
Yeah.
On his tee shot. He let it go on so much angle and so early that it was going to be like halfway between the tee and the corner going into there. And I mean, that's death. That's like bogey from there is a good score.
Right.
And he hit one of the guardian trees and it redirected him back to the right, almost like in the middle. It was crazy.
Yeah. So how'd that play? Was that, there was an OB obviously on the tree line to the left. So you went down so the water played OB, I guess?
No, I don't think any water played OB.
Okay.
It was very soft. I think there was a few holes where the pavement was OB. Like hole 6.
Yeah.
Big hyzer.
Okay. Yeah.
Parking lot was OB.
Well-defined lines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was it. I don't think any water was OB.
Right on. Yeah, I mean, it was a 1-rounder, so no reason for Alcott to get out there and paint it up. It's all pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
What is OB and what isn't. So.
And honestly, like, you're not, other than like hole 6 where there's a parking lot there that you can turn something over if there's wind.
Right.
Most of the time, you're not finding OB.
Right.
Unless there is that water that you talked about, but no water OB. There's almost no OB to contend with on that course.
Yeah, even the water that is there, it's not super deep or anything. So, get out there and play behind it. Follow the rules.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, you killed it. So
I was happy.
Job.
I didn't have a lot of confidence going into that tournament because we played a practice round. Was it the day before?
Yep.
You'd
been out there. You played before I got there.
I played 2 the day before, and I was not having a good time.
No, you weren't.
I was not looking forward to this tournament.
Remember what I said to you as well? It's like, no, man, you're good. You're gonna play well tomorrow because you're not playing so good right now.
It could have been a crazy round too. That's the interesting thing, is I missed at least 3, maybe 4, like 35 to 40 foot putts that I hit like the very top of the cage or the band on.
Yeah.
So you get a couple more of those to fall. I had some weird kicks because that's just the nature of woods golf, and especially that course knows that I hate it, so it likes to take things out on me. Like on hole 16, big hyzer, short little hyzer.
Yeah.
I threw a zone OS, and there's a tree that is kind of slightly angled into the fairway, which I kind of like in theory because the higher you go, the smaller your gap is.
Right.
But you kind of need to push the envelope on the height in order to get a forehand there. And I threw it, and out of my hand, I thought it was perfect. And I knew it just had to miss that one tree. And it clips it on such an angle that it lands. This is a zone OS. It lands vertical, but it has the same spin.
Mm-hmm.
And so it almost kind of like a wedge shot in golf. It has backspin to it.
Yeah.
And it just kind of ripped. Almost like if you're ripping a Beyblade or something. Just ripped backwards. And then I thought, okay, like whatever, it's going to lose its momentum when it hits the leaves. And then it hits the leaves and just slow rolls for at least another 10 to 15 seconds, almost into the fairway of 15.
Oh.
And I was like, what have I done to deserve this?
God, yeah, man. That's the rollaways. You know, what was it? Wolford always talks about recently, the manifest. If you're thinking about that shot and how you're going to do on it, it's probably going to happen to you.
I wasn't thinking that was I'll be honest, I wasn't thinking that was a
We're good
possibility in that moment. I was like, I'm about to lace this drive, and when I let it go, I thought it was perfect, and then I got crushed.
Yeah. Oh man, just unfortunate. So I love that shot too. That was Jesse's first ace. Jesse Moore's first ace. Shout out.
Is that the one that I was there for?
You were there for that. That's the one that he was like, what? And I'm the only one that saw it go in the basket.
He took the inside line.
Yeah. I mean, it was a terrible shot.
Most aces are, though.
Yeah. And he got it. I was like, good job.
Yeah.
Corner pockets and not even much change. You couldn't really hear it. So good for him.
I think we were all kind of in disbelief when we saw that one.
Yeah. Oh, wait. That was his second ace. His first ace was at Baby Heineman.
Oh, okay.
Flick with the that super beat-in Barry.
The Barry that's now retired.
Yeah, Barry Blue.
The Barry that is no longer in the bag.
Told him, man, you need to get a Barry White.
Top real deep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, this one about to go in the basket. Well, so tell me a little more about it, man. Like, so who were you most... who was your main competition in your mind going into it?
So going into it, I had never played with Andrew Hinnebrey.
Yep.
Is that how you say his last name?
Yeah, Andy's a buddy, man. He's a good guy.
And I've heard like from you guys and Wolford that he loves the wood game.
That
he
is
throws
his game.
A whole bunch of like old flippy Innova stuff basically. And so I was like, this guy's gonna be a problem. Thankfully I was carded with him. So at least I knew like if he was gonna kick my butt, I at least got to watch it. Yes. And I could keep a close eye on him. And he had a rough day.
He did, man.
He had a very rough day. He had unfortunately for him, our first hole, which I loved because it was perfect for me, was hole 6, which is just like a big hyzer with very overstable disc.
Okay, hole 6. I'm gonna make
The one right by the parking lot.
Yeah, perfect for you to start on. Yeah, I'd love to start on that.
Yeah, but for him, he seems to kind of like the more flip up game.
Yeah,
and so he threw something. I think it was a little juiced, and he threw it a little bit flatter than he wanted to, and it just had no chance.
Yeah,
and you could tell like with all of his stuff, watching it through the day, like once it started to turn, it was not coming back.
Yeah,
because it was so old and so beat in.
Yeah, I figured that was going to be your thoughts on main competition because I was talking to you about that too, saying like, man, Andy's going to be a guy to compete with because he's so good in the woods.
Which was weird because I went into it going like, okay, this is the guy that I need to go shot for shot with. And then he took a double on the first and second hole, and then immediately my mind had to switch to go, this guy's basically out of it because he's already 4 over.
Right.
And so he's going to have to play great to get to the number that I want to get to. And so now I need to be like, I just need to focus on my number. Yeah. Instead of worrying about somebody else. And then and that's what I did for like the first 12 holes, and then I started looking at scores.
Yeah. Well, that's good. At least you waited that long. Yeah. That's the mindset you have to have, right? Like you're not playing against a person. Yeah. You need to play against the course and know what you can shoot out there and try to reach that goal.
At least in the beginning. I like to get myself into flow, and then I like to know. Right. Like I don't mind knowing scores. Right. I would rather know going into a situation.
But at your own time, right? You don't want somebody else on the card doesn't need to be like, hey, by the way, man, you're first place. Like,
don't do that. I hate that.
Dude, I've seen so many people just lose it from there.
I hate it. Yeah. Well, that's like that might be my biggest disc golf pet peeve is when you are on a tear. Like you've birdied 3, 4, 5, 6 in a row. And then everybody in your card is like, oh, man, you need to slow down. Or, oh, man, you're really on a heater. And I'm like, yeah, man.
Man, I want to kick your ass right now.
Yeah, I was not thinking about that till you just said it. So thanks. I was really in a flow state.
Yeah, flow state. I like it. Ooh, need a shirt.
Flow state.
Flow state.
Yeah.
Disc golf, flow state.
See, I hate when that happens. So usually, like if I'm on a card when somebody's playing well, I just say, good shot, nice putt.
Yeah. Man, I like the one rounder for this time of year.
It makes it interesting.
Yeah, and it's cold. Well, it wasn't really. It started cold for you on Saturday, but it warmed up pretty quick.
Yeah,
Ish.
it warmed up. This was funny because me and Lucas were talking about this because we are like, he had already played a few holes to warm up. And he was like, I'm warm. So you play like 3 or 4 and you're going to be warm.
Yeah.
And we played 3 or 4 and then we hit backups.
Oh, yeah.
So I never really got like super, super warm throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, I bet you guys had some backups getting over to
Big
11.
backups.
11's the new par 4. They made it longer. Cool hole.
Which I really like.
Yeah, I agree. For those that did work on that, I know David Helton, Preston Cowan, probably Robbie Shaw. My boy Robbie, shout out. I know they put a lot of work in out there. Hole 11, cool hole.
I really enjoy it.
Yeah, I do too.
I just love par 5s that make you throw a good tee shot.
Yes, and that one is, it baits you into throwing the 12 speed, or the 11.
You don't need to. You can't get there. I don't think you can get there.
No, definitely not. But you think like, man, I could probably get like, at least long jump putt range.
Yeah. It's just not worth it.
No.
Like I've emptied my bag out there and I've thrown some really good shots, with like horses and nukes and exactly how I want, and you just cannot get there.
Yeah. I've seen you throw some great shots. And then you think about tournament style, if you're in the flow state, you could probably pipe that, that 11 speed. Let's see, what would you throw on that?
I threw an Athena in the tournament.
Okay. And now in practice.
In practice, I would throw a force or a nuke.
Yeah, I was going to say force, yeah.
And it's just very hard to control.
Yeah. Man.
Because that gap is tight.
It is. And you kind of have to, Heiser flips something even, it needs to go off to the left a little bit and then turn a tad right and then
finish.
Correct. Yeah, and finish and fade off. It's a toughie. I like it.
No, I enjoy the hole because, especially that course out there, I think it needs some more par 4s.
Yeah, man, I agree. It's the hole 14 is a great par 4, and
I love that hole.
Yeah,
I love it, and that's how I wish Woods Golf would be everywhere.
I'm telling you, we got to go up and play Farmington and play Cedar Creek. Is that what?
I think I've already talked about it before.
Yeah, it's the one that they play at for Northwest Arkansas Open.
Okay, yeah, I remember we definitely talked about this before.
It is great mix of shots. There's also some open, then you have to hit a gap, or you're throwing out of a gap first. But then the ones that are narrow fairways, it's an open fairway, but it's a narrow fairway. And if you're off of that fairway, you are in trouble.
Yeah, that's when you get punished.
Yeah.
And that's how it should be. That's why I love I think hole 14 is a Pro Tour level hole.
Yeah, I agree. Man, I totally agree.
With a few tweaks.
Yeah. The the tee pad is questionable as far as the short one where it is.
I made that joke when I threw my tee shot. I was like, I probably landed on the tee pad and skipped left.
Yeah, that's just my opinion. But yeah, that's a great landing zone. It's my best shots that I've thrown on that were, and I jokingly said it when the tee pad got put in, when I'd heard it did, and it was on Facebook. I was like, man, I bet it's probably where
you want to land.
I like to land.
Yep.
And sure enough.
Which makes sense if you're going to put a short tee pad there. It's just with that tee shot, you have it's just no room. And so to take an already incredibly small landing zone and put a surface that will not stop at this there, but will actually propel it when it hits it,
right,
is not great.
And at the angle it's coming down,
it
means it's going to that creek.
Yeah, it's not great. But the hole as a whole is great. Like I mentioned earlier, I was on a card with Elijah, and he threw a fantastic tee shot where he was like probably 2 or 3 feet back from the tee pad.
Yeah,
like where he landed like on perfect, and then he threw like another great shot directly in the middle of the fairway that faded off a little bit left, and then he just jump putted up to par.
Nice, man. That's all she'd be going for on that one is par. If you get the birdie, that's the bonus.
Well, that's the thing is if you throw 2 good shots, you shouldn't have to stress.
Right.
Ever.
No, you're totally right, man. And that's kind of where I got with it. Stop trying to get the birdie. Play it. I'll play it way better if I'm not putting that on myself.
I'm not that way.
I know you're going for the
aggressive.
Birdie. Yeah, you are aggressive on it. And that's all good.
And it gets me in trouble a lot, and that's how it should.
Yeah. So, that was
risk reward.
Yeah, it depends on the course. If it was Burns Red, RIP.
RIP.
that was a course that I would get aggressive on.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some winners there real quick. Congratulations again, man. That's awesome. So
Sherwood Beast has been slain.
I actually intended to make it up there for to caddy. I was going to actually caddy for JMO and just wasn't able to make it up. I had some other stuff I had to tend to, and then had to be somewhere at noon. So it was just not feasible because that was a pretty decent drive back and forth. So
JMO probably could have used you.
He actually, oh man, let me read it to you. It's funny.
Did he send you something?
Man, I don't think he's on watching. There's only 2. It looks like, but yeah. But I sent him some good advice after that. So I was caddying digitally, and I was watching the whole time. Yeah. I was, man, all the time.
If only PDGA Live had like UDisc, where you could see like after one throw, like off the fairway.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Like, Jesse, what are you doing?
I saw that, man. What are you throwing there? You probably did that with an 11 speed, didn't you?
Or it's like off the fairway after 3 or something, or putting from circle 2.
Yeah,
that would be cool to see in real time and something like that.
Oh man, this is good right here. So I actually made him an audio. I'll do that for folks, or I'll get on the voice memo on my phone and I'll make some fun little audio for him. So this was and he does Do Better disc golf for those that know, which he's got the Gunch, how the Gunch stole Christmas. It's the Grinch, obviously, but Saturday. So Mike and Wolford are on a team.
Sorry about that, by the way.
The team to beat, and myself and Lucas Murray. So
that'll be a good combo.
Yeah, I think so, man. I love Lucas. He's a good dude. Obviously, he's a new father. Looks like a great dad. So happy for him. And he did well this weekend.
Yeah, he did. I got to play with him the whole round too.
You know you better, so you gotta do better disc golf.
How can you not throw a great shot out?
Right? Yeah. So he said, "Well, I could have used." He said, "LOL, love it." And then later on, it was just like, "Dude, get off your phone." This was before the round that I sent him that. But he sent me a text saying, "Well, could have used a caddy on that hole." Is the hole he got a 7 on? I think it was like his third hole.
It was hole 11.
Yeah,
he struggled with that hole. I think a lot of people struggle with that hole.
Yeah, and I said that. Yeah, I mean, I probably would have. Not gonna manifest that. Nope. I said, don't get frustrated. Don't dwell. Forget about it because it's done. Focus on the moment. So
that's good advice, right?
Yeah, it's like simple. I try to tell myself that all the time.
Yeah, it's easier said than done.
Yeah, that's why I'd make a killer therapist.
I won't listen to the advice, but I can tell it super well.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you great advice that I don't follow, but you should. So, but we had speaking of Robbie Shaw, I gotta give him a shout out because I love that dude. He took down the MP 60.
Nice.
Yep, 1 down.
That's a great score out there too.
Great score. Yeah.
What did that rate?
Let's see. So ratings on that one. That is a 951. Well above his rating.
Sick.
Yeah. Yes, that's great. He took home some money. So a little bit of money. MP40. Man, Mike Westerman. He is a good player.
I've seen his name quite a bit at the top.
Yeah.
I haven't met him yet.
He's come to the minis. He took me down in a throw off in the mini playing at Sherwood.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's we don't know each other well, but we've met several times, and I mean, I just know he's a good player.
He played MP 40.
Yes, and he's actually 50 plus, but just dropped down because nobody else was signed up for 50 from what Wolford told
up
me.
On the young bucks.
Yeah, man. I mean, with that score, he could have jumped down and
what he
played, got second place in the main one, 3 down.
Nice. That's
971 rating. David Bevis was out there. He shot 2 down. Good job, David. Sean Gwines, Mr. Bro. Had a great time playing with Sean at the Veterans for Vets tournaments. We had a blast. He shot 1 down, and 951 rating for him. So
I was so surprised it rated so well. We're all sandwiched in there.
Yeah. So, and of course the usual holes that had the backups had the backups. So
there were some bad backups.
We were talking about today. Hole 14 or hole. Yeah, 14 is the par 4. Mm-hmm. And hole 13 before it, they moved the basket. They have another position to the left of where it usually was.
Yeah, how do you feel about that?
I like it for tournament play because
You like it for the pace of play.
pace of play too. Yeah. Because throwing down. For those of you that know, when you throw down hole 13, great shot, super fun shot. But the tournament that I played there last, we had a big backup on 14, and nobody really knew kind of where to be. So you're looking right at the basket and right behind it.
That's right, because
you see the
pit,
people.
You're right in line with it.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that can get in your head. You know?
And it's a super downhill shot, so distance control is already difficult.
Right. And you can pipe it right into that group.
I've seen many people fling their disc way over in that direction.
Yeah. No, I've done it. I've disc down to like putter, pig on that shot now.
Yeah, I throw zone.
Yeah, it's and it's usually windy up there, even when it's
Mm-hmm.
not a windy day. It's just windy there. So
Yeah, that makes sense. That's kind of why I thought they had moved it. But I will say, like, admittedly, I love the old pin positions, tee shot so much more.
yeah, I agree. I mean, I think it's a really cool setup. The way that
With the pit.
the pit. That's a good way to describe it.
Yeah.
Get
But
down
I
into
do
Thunderdome.
understand for like you said, tournament play, like it makes so much more sense to have it to the left.
Yeah. So if they had one where they were just doing the short, or if they had the pro, the higher up tiers playing the long on 14,
Yeah.
and then the lower tiers playing the short,
Wouldn't be as big of an issue.
we might not have as much backup, and it could alleviate some of that. And I don't know.
Yeah, backups got bad. We hit backups pretty early. Probably like 5 holes in.
Yeah. Oh, when you're just getting into that
Yeah.
flow state, man.
Yeah. And then it got really bad when we got to hole 11. That's when the multi-card backups started getting bad. And then we got through 11, we got through 12, and we got through 13. And then 14, you kind of expect a backup to be there, so that's not that big of a deal because you're
Right.
already mentally prepped for that. But when we got through 14, 14 kind of loops back around to the tee box of 11. And there is a line from the tee box to the basket of 10. It had to have been at least 4 cards.
Whoa. Yeah, and that's man. Yeah, where do you stand there, right? Like that's
You got people playing down the 14. You got to get out of the way.
Yeah. Man, I don't know.
So I don't know how they managed that, but in that moment, I was very thankful for only a 2-card backup.
Yeah, right. And how many were in the tournament? Let's see.
Mid 60s, high 60s.
Yeah, so it was almost a full tournament. 72 would be a full 4-card on every hole. So, yep, it seems like probably had every hole -1 maybe.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure there were some 3 cards. Well, no doubt.
I just don't know. I don't know what you do to fix that. I really don't.
I don't know either. There's still quite a bit of room to play with out there. So maybe it just means like, some 2 tee pads per hole, not necessarily a short and a long, maybe just like one that's over to the left or something.
Yeah, it's out of the way that people
Yeah.
can keep playing. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it was a combination of having 11 and then 12 and then 13 and 14 all just right in that stretch that really just bogged everything down. But even after we got through 14, we still had backups on it.
Yeah. When it's there, it's there, right? So
Yeah, at that point, the gap had already been closed.
yeah, I think there's tons of ideas on how you can alleviate that, but really, like, you don't know until you try, right? So
Yeah, that's something I'm pretty ignorant on.
me too. So it's my TD experience is not like exponential. So
I got zilch of it. So
Yeah.
I'm just an annoying, bickering crowd member.
Hey man, we have a platform for that. So, but real quick too, some more shout outs on the winners. Stephen McLaren takes down, I think, his first official pro win. Yeah.
Heard him talking about that after.
Nice. Congrats, Stephen. And you played against some tough competition with Matt Scott and with Ryan Wilson. So
Congrats.
yeah, dude, total congrats. Stefan used to be a nemesis of mine in MA1. Yeah, he was on the list. And he's a good bud. So
yeah, he's a super good guy.
Let's see. We said Michael. I'll give Jana a shout out. I'm glad to see that Jana is playing up, and where she should be in FPO.
Nice.
And Jana, I'm sure the field strength will get there as far as getting some ladies up into FPO. I would love nothing more than to see more juniors and more women
Agreed.
in our area playing. So
How'd she shoot?
she shot well. It was let's see. So she shot +6, which I
Did she beat Evan?
She did.
That's cool.
Sorry, Evan.
That's cool.
Yeah, man. Evan is it's
No
not really
offense
his
to Evan.
style. Yeah, no offense at all.
It's
Evan.
just cool because like especially being married, it's just like
Right. Oh, if my girlfriend did
it's like
that or wife,
I would talk shit about that to the end of time.
I would too, man. I'd be like, I'm gonna take that. Yeah, that's cool. That's fine. Until it like got to 3 weeks of that, I'd be like, all right,
Yeah.
that's enough. Like, let's go play that again. Yeah, we talked about Michael and Robbie. So you got the MA1. Elijah's a great player. He got second, and he plays well out there. He plays a lot out there.
Yeah, me and him have had some good battles in tournaments.
Yeah, he man, the first time I played with him, he like the last 3 holes, he just took it from me. Took the second place spot.
Yeah, he seems like a woods guy.
He's a woods guy. He is. Yeah,
Freaking
he's
woods
got
guys.
the shot for it, and he can bomb too.
Woods guys.
Yeah, Lucas, he's a woods guy. My partner.
Guys.
Yeah, he's a great player. Lucas has been stepping it up, man.
Yeah, his game is a lot over
Yeah.
last year.
Good for him. Good job, Lucas. If you listen to this, you should. If you don't, I'm going to tell you on Saturday, subscribe. Glad to see he got third. So with a 2 down, great score, 961 rating.
I didn't even see Wolver talking in the chat. What's up, losers?
Oh, hey, look at that guy. I know that guy.
I know that guy.
Yeah, where is he?
Yeah, where are you, loser?
Have a fun time, man. So FA1, Autumn Erickson. I know Autumn really well. We've known each other for years. She actually, and I love to see that she's playing disc golf. She's a big volleyball player.
Cool.
Used to be, yeah. And coach, I think now.
Nice.
We actually did a lot of work together for the UALR campus garden back in the day when they got that put in.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so she's great. She shot +6 as well, taking the win there. Ezel, I hadn't seen Ezel in a while, so cool to see she was playing. MA40, Matthew Ocasio, +2. It's a good score out there,
That's what
man.
I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
nobody's really that far off.
So, I actually asked JMO if he wanted to come on tonight. He's busy. He has a date, I think. But
Ooh.
yeah, good for you, man. Very nice. I met her the other day.
Nice.
Yeah. Michael High took it from the Mike got a birdie on hole 7
That's
to win.
insane.
Yeah, to win.
Did he know that he needed it?
I think so.
That
I
makes
hope
it-
so.
That makes it that much more impressive.
Yeah. Like I got to look at that whole score to make sure I'm right. But that's what I heard, and JMO told me that too.
I wonder if he got lucky. Or if he
Dude,
just pured
he
it.
totally did, man. Yeah, I wonder if he did inside or if he went around.
There's
Yeah.
so many different ways you could attack that hole.
That is a tough two. He could have had the only 2 of the day.
It's so tough.
Yeah, so I was watching that, and JMO had ups and downs. So for him to finish at +1, I thought was great because he did take that 7.
How many over par strokes? Yeah.
Let's see.
That'll be the kicker. Yeah, David. Jesse did not win his division. He's still looking for that win.
Yep, he is.
Poor guy.
Yeah, he's talking about he's as he puts it. This is not my words. He's choked on the.
That's going to be somebody, though, that once he, has he won yet?
He had 7 strokes over par.
7. So there
Yeah.
it is right there.
Yeah, man.
Take away some of them are hard to avoid out there.
Yeah,
But you even take away 5 of well, he only lost by 1, right?
right. I mean, if he did just parred hole. Sorry for the shoulda wouldas, but hole 11. A tough hole for him. Take that
Or even
7
just
away.
bogeyed it.
Yeah, or bogey. Yeah, you're right. So and Mike High is a good player. He throws well.
See another Woods guy?
He plays in the woods. He can play in the woods.
Freaking guys.
Yeah, but he can bomb too. I've seen him pump some disc.
I
And
know they're always playing out at Stone Links too. Him and Steve play a lot
Yes,
together,
he and
right?
Steve Manette.
Yeah.
And shout out to these guys. They've got Deadeye Solutions with the towel,
That's cool.
the magnetic clip towel. I still have mine. I love it. Thanks, guys.
That's a nifty idea, honestly.
Yeah, I think they sell them at both. I think they're at 13 Peaks and Perks. They're like 25 with tax. It's probably 26 or 7,
I
but
mean, a good towel is a good towel.
it's a good towel. It's microfiber.
Yeah.
You can dry your car with it,
And
or you can, or you can.
well, especially in situations where you need it, it's invaluable.
Yeah, And it's not dragging the ground. That's kind of the idea.
And the theory is that you said it's magnetic, right? So you
Right.
can it's like an ease of just tacking it on and then taking it off.
I think it's like an 8-pound magnet. Or
That's
something like
cool.
that. Yeah, so I like mine. It it can pull off if you're walking through a bunch of briar,
Yeah.
but
But if you put it in the right spot, I'm sure it's.
yeah, he had a good idea where when it's raining, he has an umbrella. Steve does, and he puts it inside his umbrella.
Genius.
So it's like, yeah, that's what I said. I was like, God.
Genius.
So
That's good.
yeah, that's always the thing, man. We're always getting all the towels I ever have are getting soaked at any rain golf.
Yep. Yeah, it's hard. I do want to finish my thought about Jesse.
Oh yeah, sorry.
When he hasn't won one, right?
He has won some tournament. Let me look it up. I'm actually.
He talks like he hasn't won any.
Lately, no.
Okay. I feel like he's going to be one of those guys that once he gets like the big win, his game's going to go.
Oh yeah, and he's a great player. So
He gets in his head.
Yes, that's exactly it.
And he's not even subtle about it. He'll just be like, "Yeah, I'm nervous."
So his most recent win, he did the naturally flexing. He got first on that.
That's right.
Fall flex start at Cougar. He's like me, getting those flex starts wins.
Yeah, the flexes. How much weight do you put into flex starts, by the way?
Hey man, that's a real tournament to me. I mean, I put enough. It depends on the strength of field.
True, that's a good point.
If it's and a flex is, it's I mean, I guess if it was more like a tea time tournament, then it's similar that way. But
Just a different vibe.
it's a different vibe. I'm way more comfortable going into that. I don't have that tournament thought process
Yeah.
as much.
Well, it's like you're not seeing another team. It's just different.
Yeah, you're right. It is. So
For good and worse reasons.
So yeah, I could say that it's, it's it's a flex start. It's a different thing.
So has he won like a C or a B tier or anything?
Let's see. No.
We're really just breaking down Jesse's game right now.
Dude, it's
Sorry,
all
buddy.
flexes. Yeah, it's all flex.
Okay, so he still has got to get that big one.
And then MA2 flexes. That's a pretty big field
Yes.
usually. He took the win in 2020 at the Nashville City Park Open.
A B tier, C tier?
C tier. Yeah.
Oh, wow. And the thing is
But
he's been in contention so much.
Yes. So you're right. Your point stands for sure. As soon as he gets that win and a 1-round tournament, 2-round tournament, whatever.
Just to prove to himself that he can do it.
Yeah. Yeah, man, that's it, right?
That's all it is. That was a big deal for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you think you're good. You play practice rounds, you're like, I'm good.
Yeah.
I know I can do it. But then when you don't go out there and do it X amount of times, you start to think in your head like, shit.
You're right. And that's what they talk about on the Pro Tour. Now he knows how to win. Now she knows how to win,
And that is a skill. Like people don't really talk about that, but it is a skill.
Yeah.
Like I remember I don't even remember my first tournament that I ever won, but I remember the feeling that I had going into it and knowing that I have a chance to win and those nerves. And those nerves now versus like the nerves on like this last weekend is just completely different.
Yeah.
Completely different.
I'm actually pulling up to see which one you
Yeah,
won.
I don't know what my first one was. I think it was MA2, and I think it might have been Possum Pie Open.
Okay. You know what? I think we played together on that one.
Very
Let's see.
possible.
Because I was around when you were coming into MA1, and
Well, I started in MA1, and I got my ass handed to me. I was like, I need to go down to MA.
Yeah, well, you gotta start somewhere. I did the same. I didn't play in MA1 first. I played one tournament MA3, then I popped up to MA2.
Yeah.
Stayed there for a while, about a year, and then I popped into MA1.
Yeah.
Because I wanted the competition.
Yes.
Even if I was going to get my ass kicked, I wanted it to get kicked by good players.
Yeah.
Not that MA2 players are bad. That's not what I'm saying.
You're just better, man.
Now I could probably go back down there.
Then Jesse's not going to win.
Possum Pie Open was your
The first one?
Yep. So that was August 2022. Well, hold on.
Sheesh.
Oh, so this is so the 501 DGO with perks and recreation. It's never too hot for a rated round. That was a flex, I think.
Yeah, it
wasn't
was.
But you took that down.
Where was that at? That was probably a Hyman.
I think it was a Heinemann. Yeah, actually, I think I took that down in mine. Boo-hoo. I think I got like an 8 down. Yeah, it was back when Chris could play well. Boom, that's me.
On
8
East?
down, pow.
Nice.
Yeah,
I wonder what that rated.
I don't know. But yeah, I remember that round.
995. What did I shoot? Freaking 600.
That was one that Wolford and I put on. So I was the last. He and I were the last to go out. We had 2 cards. He played with Mike Hedinger and I can't remember who else. And then I played with Nate Turner and another guy that I knew from Russellville. Sorry, I can't remember your name at the moment. So playing with both of those guys who were great players, I was going shot for shot with them.
And that helps a lot.
It does. It does. Y'all play with jump up in, you can move up a division for a tournament or 2 and see how it goes.
Don't hate me for playing Glow. I'm trying to make everyone better.
That's what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's helping you.
Trying to help.
Yeah. Give him your money. Oh, man.
I feel so bad.
Well, let's move on. So, man, we were talking about it's cold, man. Today was cold.
Freaking cold.
And we got to acclimate to this cold. More's coming, but we'll probably get warm again too. It just happens that way.
Freaking Arkansas.
It's Arkansas, man. It's different. It's weird. You got to adapt. It seems like we've been dealing with climate change situations forever in Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
We've always had erratic weather.
Seems like no year's the same.
Right. So we have a new opportunity that just started. Well, it's been in the works for a while, but last night was the first little kind of opening of it. They actually set it up as a tournament. So for those of you that went and have now seen it on social media, Perks and Recreation opened up their indoor putting course.
Such a cool.
It is a cool idea, and I think that a lot of the country, as far as disc golf, may start to try to grab hold of that and recreate that.
I think people are gonna pay attention to it.
Yeah, absolutely. You had people like Zagone sharing it. Luke has been up there. I was up there once. I helped Perks out a lot.
Yeah.
Recently, I've been too busy with personal stuff, but I got to hang out with Luke Humphreys up there for a short period of time, and he was up there checking it out.
That's cool.
And that was before it was even like halfway finished.
That's
and
cool.
He just kind of was getting the rundown from Eric about how it was, like what his idea was for it.
Yeah.
And he loved it. And he's talking about, man, wintertime doing some fun stuff out there.
The concept is phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
I've yet
really
to see
is.
it in person. I know you got to play it, right?
I did. So I wasn't signed up. They did like a 36-player tournament on it, just putting competition. Now, for context, these are, if you've seen it on Facebook or any of the social media, these are all like, it's an obstacle. It's like a mini golf course, There's little
fun.
obstacles, yeah. And it can translate to, out on the course for sure.
There's 9 holes?
There's 9 holes. And we got 4 disc each. So you got to throw 4 putts, and then it was just an adding of scores of how many you made.
Oh, like 1 point per make.
1 point per make. So I got to play, luckily. Actually, I was going to go up there and watch Dan, because each person that signed up got to bring up to 3 guests.
Gotcha.
And so my intention was to go up, see how it went, talk to folks, really so that I could translate it over to this, and do a write-up on it later.
Yeah.
Man, it was so positive. People loved it.
That's cool.
So congrats to Perks, man.
What kind of variety of like putts did they have?
Oh, man. So you do have the option on most of them. If you want to do a nice hyzer angle putt, they have a tee pad.
Okay.
So
So you have to like stay within it.
right there, and it's just like it's like it's like a big front door mat. So
That's cool.
yeah, so it's plenty big. You could even lean out if you want, as long as that foot gets off the ground. It's not on the tee pad. You're good to go. So
Did they have like a variety of distances?
they did, yeah.
Okay,
So
cool.
there were several. Some of them were also elevated or hanging.
Nice.
There was one that was behind a box. So the cool thing, this was, it was like, how the hell you make that? But you can. So you can do weird stuff like bank it off of the netting or bank it off of a barrel or something.
That's a good.
But those putts exist. Just think of them as trees, right?
It's just a fun way to go. Either like kill time or just a creative way to practice.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that they'll get a lot of business. So
My favorite was
the way, yeah,
those guys.
yeah, the wacky wavy inflatable arm flailing tube men,
Yeah.
bane of my existence. So they were fun. So that was a timing thing, like angle and timing.
Yeah, when it would like dip down.
Yeah. And I made the comparison today. It's like, well, it could be like if it was really windy, those are limbs. That wavy man smacking your disc down.
I wonder if they have ever thought about experimenting
They have brought that up.
with like fans or something
Putting
in
a
there.
big ass blower in there. Yeah.
That would be so cool.
Yeah, headwind put.
Yeah, that would be so cool.
Next round, it's going to be tailwind. So that Eric has brought that up. Yeah, it was really cool to, I didn't do a whole lot of the work up there when I was helping a lot with perk stuff. I was doing more of stuff like at Heinemann.
Yeah.
Just trying to do what I could as far as course maintenance so that people could enjoy it. So it's, what they've done. Thank you guys for what you've done so far. And
It's exciting.
man, it's exciting.
I think the cool part too is that since it's indoors, it's a completely controlled environment.
Yeah.
You can literally do whatever you want.
Yes. And they've got a permit to sell alcohol. They've got beer up there, all local, a lot of local beer. Good for them. There's non-alcoholic stuff too. I don't drink, so I got a root beer.
Same.
It was a Diamond Bear, and
Was it a
was
good root beer?
It was good, dude. I don't even drink root beer very much, and it was delicious.
This means I got options.
Yeah, Kate talked me into it. They got Gatorade. I know you like Gatorade.
Oh, I do like me some Gatorade.
Yeah, they had the yellow. That's my favorite.
The yellow.
I'll take some of the yellow. They have like a little seating area up there. So the 9-hole course is separated from the seating area by a wall.
Okay.
And so it kind of deadens the sound.
Yeah.
And it was really comfortable. They have TVs, so they're going to have disc golf playing like the shops usually do.
Yeah. Or if there's
So-
like another big sporting event. I'll watch at the time when
Right.
disc golf's in the off season or something.
Yeah. So you don't rewatch something you've already watched a million times. Yeah. I know that's what I do. But man, you'll like it. We'll have to go up there when they open. Which
I feel like I'm
soon
going to
it
be
is.
there quite a bit.
Yeah, dude, it's gonna be. When it's cold, putting league outside's tough, bro. I need
It'll
to.
be fun. And then they did something pretty unique, right? I
Yes.
think you were telling me something about that
As far as wait, hold on.
with like the cameras.
Oh yeah, good point. So yeah, if you've got social media, if you got Instagram or if you have Facebook, jump on, look up Perks and Recreation, RE-creation, and they have that up there. They actually had it live streaming last night. So
Yeah, I tuned in before people started and was kind of like looking at it. It was cool. The quality looked good. I don't know what it looks like when putts are coming in because I didn't get to see it.
yeah.
But again, conceptually, very, very cool.
I'm glad you said that. I agree, but you know more than I do.
I
thought the quality was good.
microanalyze everything.
Oh yeah, well, yeah.
Which was funny. I was hanging out with somebody the other day and we were watching some show and I made some like off the wall comment of like, why would they make an angle like that, or why would they like use that zoom or that focus? And they're like, you think about that when watching shows? I was like, yeah, I have no choice.
Dude. Yeah, I
This
get
is
it.
my life.
Yeah, right. So that's what you do for a living.
Yeah.
Mike's in the marketing and social media game, as I'm sure a lot of you listening know. He's works for the Pro Tour, so it's awesome.
So yeah, I can't turn that part of my brain off.
I get it, dude. What I do with soil agronomy and educational school gardening and stuff, I microanalyze
Yep.
everything about my place and then everybody else's. And sometimes I take some of their good and I'll recreate it into mine.
Yep.
And it's
the beauty of being passionate about it too.
yeah, which it can also get you in trouble.
Yeah, it's a fine line.
As far as, yeah.
It's a fine line.
But man, it's and that's kind of what we're seeing with Perks. This is a lot of sweat equity and a lot of work that they put in. And man, the end result is, I mean, it's super great. Like,
I can't wait to go experience it. So
yeah.
you know how long they've been working on it?
Oh my goodness. So yeah, I'd say that, the better part of, almost a year.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And there was a lot of cleanup that had to be done. These are old, it's an old building in downtown. They actually there's a third floor that they're eventually they might do
There's
something
a
there.
third.
There's a third floor.
Oh
yeah.
my goodness, it just never ends.
Yeah, so that's a possibility. Who knows? I don't really know the answer to that, so I'm just speculating. By the way, everybody.
We want 18 holes. We're not satisfied.
And that's what the 36 got to do last night. So yeah, I did get to play because somebody didn't show up. So Eric's told me I could jump in on a card, and yeah, I was like, oh,
How'd you putt?
what a treat! Terribly. No, I putted semi well. I was having fun. I was out, and it was. I started forehanding, so I was doing little turnover forehands, and shots that were, that I could use, that I do use. That's the cool thing about it too. You can start. You can try other things out and kind of perfect, where we might not do that when we go play rounds, where we're actually, I should have leaned out right and given this a nice little forehand.
Yeah, something that you wouldn't even think of.
Yeah.
Unlock something. And then the next time you're putting around a tree, you can just imagine it's a little car dealership thing and you're good to go.
Damn, I need to make this putt and then go buy a car. Let's see. I'm actually want to look up when they're opening it and David Hernandez might know the answer to that. Let's see. Oh, yeah, he did. As far as to backtrack just for a second. Little different game when you can pick your tee time and card.
Oh, talking about flex starts?
Yeah, and he's right.
It is different.
Absolutely. So they call it's Perks Putt Indoor Disc Golf Course and then Par Bar Lounge.
That's a cool name, too. Speaking of marketing stuff, I like that name.
This is one of theirs right here. This is a very warm beanie.
It looks cool too.
Yeah.
I like the little retro gaming style that they got going.
I like, it's very Nintendo, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Kat stuff is very Nintendo.
Mm-hmm. I got one of her hats for that sole reason.
Yeah. Oh yeah, got to support Kat merch. So,
she's seen it.
She has. I don't know if she's seen the end result, but I know. But she probably was up there last week. I don't even know if she was in town, but she's aware, and
I can't keep up with all that.
It'll be cool to see some of see Luke up there. See some of these pros that are around the area. I'm sure Gavin Babcock will probably make an appearance. He's local-ish now.
Yeah.
December 1st
is
the opening.
So next week.
Yep. And they have a couple of days where they are closed. I think it's Sunday, Monday. So times I'm unsure of, but if you get on their page, you can find out. I'm sure. And
I'm assuming it's pay to play, right?
It is, and I'm not sure that price, but I would imagine.
I know it's $5 to sign up.
Okay.
Which would make sense.
But I
don't know the fine details if it's like 5 per 9 or like 5 and you just get in and play as many as you want, or
right. It could be a day thing. It could be 18.
Yeah.
He's told me before, but honestly, I've forgotten. But let's say if it was $5 to play 18, you haven't seen it yet, but from what you saw watching the feed, what do you think? Would you want to hang out there in the evening?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Give me some root beer.
Yeah, man.
Some putts on some. I just want
Ooh, let's do this thing. Yeah, man.
I think it'd be fun. I enjoy putting a lot, and I'd kind of do that here, where I will put my basket in certain spots where I have to maneuver it around certain.
Yeah.
Whether it be like I have archways in my living room that I'll go and position it where I have to do that. So anything that can kind of help me, have fun in the game, because Lord knows I need to have more fun because I take it way too dang seriously. And then B, also just have a different form of practice is always a good thing.
Yeah. No, I agree. And when I was, I'm in an apartment, but I work on a 2-acre, urban farm. So I need to get my basket back. But that's what I would do. When I was off work, I'd go up there in the dark, and turn on a couple of floodlights and just putt. So I got a big yard, and it's not that far from my apartment. Yeah. Just need to get the basket back in it.
Well, it seems like a really cool idea.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see it.
Yeah. So congrats again, Perks and Recreation, Kate and Eric, Gabe, and Jason Wells. Saw Nick Dote. I think Nick Dote is going to be the bartender, the pie bartender.
Some root beer.
Yeah. Hey man, Nick, let me get that root beer. Is your dog back there in your backpack? So congrats, guys. That's super exciting. Very happy for y'all. A long process. You guys put in a ton of work for it. Well deserved. So awesome. I'll be there. All right. So Yeah, speaking of, it's cold, so we were talking about that earlier. What do you do in cold weather for your bag?
I pray. No, typically, my thing is like I have fine-tuned my bag pretty good, where I know exactly what kind of shots I want in my bag.
Yeah.
And so whenever winter comes around, I mean, granted, I've only had to do this twice now, really, seriously. And this year it's been more difficult because I have it more like fine-tuned, like where I like the specific discs that I like to have in my bag. But some discs in the cold are just not the same as they are in like the heat.
Right.
And mainly for it's just grip. And that for me is like probably the most important thing when I'm holding the disc. Is
Oh yeah, I
the
agree.
amount of times, like even in the summer, like on a different opposite side of the scale, if my hands are sweating and I can't grip the disc how I want to, I will back off and make sure I wipe it off as many times.
Yeah.
Because I've not done that, and then it's slipped and I've thrown horrible shots. And I hate that.
You a chalk guy or do you use that?
I've started to be.
I've never used that liquid chalk. Have you ever used that?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, not really.
I know people have used it like in the gaming space. I've seen people use because same kind of thing when you
Oh,
need to
okay.
use like
Didn't even think
fine
about
motor
that.
control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
I have some somewhere. I couldn't imagine when to use it and hold on to the disc.
Yeah.
I was running into that issue today where it was like a weird tacky in the air.
Yeah.
And like that watermelon disc, that Paradox, for some reason, whatever plastic that was, it was like too grippy.
Yeah, dude, that thing was. Yeah.
And so it was weird. It was like I didn't have confidence on when I was going to release it. But usually it's the opposite. So for me, I'm a big Discraft guy. Pretty obvious.
Yep.
And then on top of that, I really enjoy ESP plastic. Mainly because when it's warmer, it's a little soft, has a ton of grip, and it just, for me personally, it feels really good in my hands. And then forehand stuff, I usually will forehand like Z plastic. The Z plastic in the winter's tough.
Yeah. Man.
Very tough.
That's what we're going to kind of get into because I'm the same way. You know, I have to change out some disc, man.
Yeah.
And it gets to be this time of year. And man, like for instance, I'll go to, this is an Innova Gazelle. And Robbie Shaw knows what I'm talking about. And this is a cool one, Robbie. That's a Pro Gazelle. Oh my God, it's so good.
How old is that disc?
Man, this is actually not that old. They're out of production. They make these G Stars again now. And these are a 6-speed. You know, back,
soft.
like 6-speed was normal. This was a driver, you know. Back this was like what they would consider a long distance.
I'm not trying to flip people off. I haven't heard.
Yeah, and he's still killing it. But
That's the thing you want, though. At least for me personally, is like you want a little bit of give.
yeah, you do because that's going to stiffen up a little bit in that cold,
Yes.
you know. And when that hits a tree, it's not going to shatter.
Oh, speaking of, what a segue there.
Yeah.
Speaking of, going back to Sherwood with old Andrew. Is it Hinnebury or Hinneberry?
Hinnebury.
Hinnebury. So with Andrew Hinnebury, he throws a lot of old Innova stuff.
Right.
And we were on hole 4 at Sherwood, which if you're familiar with it, you know it. It's one of the harder holes on the course. If you're not, it is a very, very tight tunnel with just a weirdly angled tree that just makes the visual of the hole difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really see him throw a lot of forehand, so I don't know if that's like his thing or not.
Man, if it was more open, forehands are his thing.
Gotcha.
That's how he gets a lot of his distance.
But he seemed like he threw a lot of just like flip up and turn over backhands.
Yeah.
And see, he throws this disc, throws a rock. I only know that because of the story I'm about to tell.
Well, you got an up close look at it. Apparently.
Yeah. He hit early off of his tee shot, and so he was kind of pinched off to the right. And I mean, if you go right or left in that fairway, you're kind of just hoping.
Yeah, hope for it. Yeah.
But he was trying to do like a little flip up and ride line through the right gap.
Okay.
And he threw it hard, and he hit very early, and then all you could see was 2 pieces of the disc just go.
Oh no, both right and left. So
Yeah, well, that was the thing. Was one half landed in the middle of the fairway, and then one landed way off to the right in the stuff.
Oof.
And I know the rule because I've talked about it. It's the biggest part of the disc.
Yeah, so if you can explain that to, we got 3 people watching.
Yeah. If you ever have, this is the first time I've ever had to deal with this in a tournament.
I never have. So.
And when a disc shatters, it's supposed to be the biggest part of the disc that you can find. It's supposed to be where your lie is.
Right.
Why they do that, I don't know. I mean, it makes sense. But what was difficult was it was an 11-time rock, which bummer. He was not happy about that.
Well seasoned, I'm sure.
Yeah. No, I mean you couldn't even see the stamp on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could tell it had seen some things, but it was legitimately split down the middle.
Wow.
So perfectly down the middle. I had asked him, legitimately, have you like bent it in half?
Yeah.
Before?
Was it creased?
Yeah. Like, because that's what I thought. I've never seen a disc not only break, but then to break and it didn't shatter. It broke in half.
Yeah. That would have been a sight.
So we kind of had to like deliberate, and we couldn't tell which one was bigger. So obviously, like, take the better lie.
Right. So you got the middle one.
Yes.
Okay. That was somebody could have really argued that against him.
Yeah, but I don't know how you could.
That's true. You'd have to
Like,
bring the
because
TD in.
I even took a picture. I don't know if we'll be able to show everybody, but I took a picture, and it's like, you legitimate, like, tell me which half's bigger.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you can put that on the camera because that's a tough call, man. Focus. Oh yeah, there you go. Nice. So
which half is bigger?
Yeah, looking at it, obviously because that other one on one side is kind of sitting different on the ground. It looks like it's bigger, but they look like right down the middle.
It's not.
Yeah.
It was crazy. I'd never seen anything like it.
So just so y'all know, when you're playing any woods golf, this, well, and shoot anywhere. If you smack it, you can hit a tree in a nice open field. It's just one tree.
It's also why you want to throw softer stuff too.
Yeah, the G-Star does not, and y'all can look this up because I did extensive research on this when I started playing again. But yeah, the G-Star stuff does not break like that. Now this is a glide. Yeah. Oh, there we go. You can read it. Yeah. Some of you older players know what this is. Yeah, man, this is a Heiser flipper's dream.
You're throwing that well today.
Called a cheater disc.
Cheetah.
Yeah, cheater. It's a guy that I played with down in Louisiana. He plays I think he plays 50 plus mostly. Some of you that might know him, Jimmy Moke. Oh my God, this dude's so good.
Yeah.
And he threw a glide as
All
his
over the
main.
place.
Oh, dude, everywhere. Yeah, and he had such great angle control with that thing. This is a flippy. God, it's another 6-speed.
And it's out of production too, right?
Yeah, they brought it back for Ledgestone.
Oh yeah,
brought it back
always do stuff.
yeah,
like
they
that.
did a tour series swirl or something with it.
Gotcha.
Not the same, but
Well, that was my thing. Is like if you fall in love with a disc like that, like if that was his only 11-time rock and like that's the run that he likes, like what do you do?
dude, hopefully he's got some backups.
Yeah, but if you don't, what do you do?
Yeah, I don't know. that's like you can't. Yeah, you cannot. I think get a replacement for that.
That's the fine line of throwing fancy stuff.
That's right. Yeah, man. That's
You feel cool throwing it, but if you lose it or mess it up, you're hurt.
Yeah.
Trying to find a replacement.
Remember we talked to Jamie Callis about that,
Yeah,
and he said, "Well, I got a stack." It's like, okay, well,
Smart.
yeah,
that's what I've started doing too. Is that, like if there's certain runs this that I'm like, or certain plastic types or combinations that I'm like, I know I love this and I will throw this till the end of time. I'm buying multiple.
yeah. And there's those discs that I will keep in the bag because for that reason, they're the ones that I love.
Yeah.
I need that disc in the bag. And it might be even so well seasoned. Usually an S line. Like if I'm going to go that route, I'm going to try to avoid the Champion style plastic or the Z. I'm going to go. That's going to be the stuff that can break.
Yeah.
The S line, maybe not as much. Maybe a nice flexy give, have some give to it. S line plastic.
I don't ever have to experience a disc break. It just feels heartbreaking, especially in a tournament.
Yeah,
It's
damn.
been a weird feeling.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people have had to experience that. At least not down here, not in Arkansas.
No, it's usually I've never seen a disc break in person. That moment, and it happened, and I was in shock. It was like my brain was playing tricks on me. I was like, I did not just see two halves of a disc go that way.
Whoa. Who slipped me something?
Yeah. And that was like the second to last hole. So I was so locked in on trying to win at that point.
Yeah.
And that took me like so far out of it.
Oh, man, that was your second to last hole.
Yeah. It was like, it was wild.
Way to maintain.
Thanks.
Yeah.
It's a cool story though.
Yeah, it is. Very cool story.
So that's yeah. I will It's a good reason why I will be changing out a lot of my bag, and I kind of already have a lot of it. That's what I was doing out there today. I brought out a whole bunch of discs that I wanted to try out. But a lot of it for me is changing from like Z or ESP to like Jawbreaker.
Yeah, I love that you've kind of turned me on to the Jawbreaker. We both putt with Lunas. If anybody knows that, you should have known that.
Squad?
Yeah, Luna Squad. That's what. Oh man, that's our doubles team name when we pot.
That'd be good.
Yeah, we can find a triples team, for that in the future.
Yeah.
I don't know who we'll pick since Kyle Ebert now putts with.
Make Wolford putt with Luna's
God, he would just complain about it. But yeah, that's I switch over to because we both started putting with the new stiffer plastic.
Yeah, the CT.
Man, those are great.
So good in the summer.
So good.
But the moment that it gets cold, they're bricks.
They are.
And they're just floppy ducks coming out of my hand.
So because I didn't even know that the Jawbreaker plastic was there for the Luna. So
yeah.
I'm gonna have to look into that.
Yeah, that's what I originally learned on.
Yeah.
Was I had initially got a special blend.
Okay.
One that you use.
That's what I usually go to.
And then I was like trying to follow the hype, and I was like, "Oh, Ledgestone in this Glow Luna Jawbreaker."
Yeah, Glow, bro.
It has so many names too. That sounds so cool. And so I got one of those in, I think it was a 2022 one, whatever the gray ones were with like the splatter stamp. And I fell in love with those, and I use those year round. And then I bought this last year's Jawbreaker because I just wanted backups for that one because I only had like one or two of those.
Yeah.
And I thought the Jawbreaker plastic was going to be like my putting plastic till the end of time.
And then you played with it in the summer.
Yeah. And then I got the CTs, and they started coming out of my hand so good. And I was like, I've got to get used to these. And then winter came back around. I was like, maybe I should only use these in the summer.
Yeah, they're kind of okay. Like, not today. Today stayed cold enough. But, when we're starts cold, you can have one in the bag so that later on in the round when it warms up a little more. But, yeah, it's, switching putters is super important. That is, because they are bricks.
Feel.
Yeah, you're right.
And and the thing is could you putt well with the firmer stuff? Sure, but do I have confidence in it? Absolutely not.
Right.
And that's the last thing I want to think about when I step up to a putt is, man, I hope I release this.
Sure. Dude, I'm already screwed.
Yeah.
If I'm thinking about it
like I want to think about getting it to the basket and putting it in the bottom of the basket, not like, oh, I better release it this way, or I better release it on this much hyzer. Like if I do that, I'm already missing.
Right. Man, I took, I had the past couple of rounds we played together as it's gotten colder. I had a CT in the bag and I had my special blend.
Yeah.
And I was kind of switching off on distance putts, and obviously was putting better with the special blend. So
yeah.
It was all feel.
Dig your thumb into it a little bit.
Yeah. So it was all about the feel. You're totally right.
Yeah.
So if any of you haven't tried that, give it a shot. It's man.
And I assume every brand probably, if they're smart, will have. I've noticed Discraft doing this a lot this year. Very smart on their marketing team. They've been releasing so much of their Jawbreaker Flex stuff, preparing
light
for
stuff.
Yeah, preparing for the cold weather stuff. And I imagine other companies. I don't know what Innova has, like whatever their soft plastic.
They usually start pushing the G-Star a little more.
Gotcha.
And then they do have, there's a couple of plastics in the AVR and in some of their putters that are a tackier, flexier.
Just a little gummier.
Gummier, yeah, that's the word. Then if you like Gateway, they have like stupid silly soft or something, whatever they call it.
Yeah.
They've got all kinds of.
Does Dynamic have?
So yeah, they do. They've got like zero medium,
Gotcha,
stuff like
okay.
that. Yeah, that's dynamic. The trilogy. They've got so many damn names for everything.
Like what were we talking about today with the Opto Ice Orbit?
Yeah,
Pure.
And they were adding in like iced tea, unsweet iced tea, Opto Orbit Pure, something like that. Yeah, they're cool looking disc, but yeah,
Disc golf marketing is something else. I'll tell you.
Oh my God, that name is so long. I got to get that. I don't even know what they just said. I just forgot. So, but yeah, man, I always also I'm a hyzer flip thrower. If I need to do some turnovers, I can throw those shots. But I'm getting most of my accuracy from hyzer flip.
Yeah,
that's just how I like to throw. And so during the winter, I'm a little stiffer. I need to warm up a little more to actually get loose.
Yeah.
And if it's really cold, clothing is very important. You don't want to overdress.
Yeah.
You don't want to underdress. It's a very fine line there. So, because you can kind of constrict yourself with too much clothes.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Do you feel like when you're playing in winter rounds, feel like your swing path changes? I noticed mine.
Yeah.
I noticed mine doing that today.
Yeah, it can.
Where like
So,
I was thinking I was throwing on hyzer and I was letting it go flat or even like slightly anhyzer.
yeah, I remember you talking about
And
that.
I'm like, I didn't even think I was doing that.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. That's I don't think as much about that, but now I kind of will.
Yeah.
But yeah, I bring a little bit more stuff that's a little more understable. I mean, that's always in the bag. but
It's also so you don't have to throw as hard.
yeah, that's absolutely right.
I was doing that at the Veterans for Vet tournament.
Okay.
I mean, it was a little cold in the beginning. It was also because I was sick, so I didn't have my full strength.
Yeah.
So it was like anything that I would normally throw, I would just go down a stability.
Okay. Yeah.
So that it would just go just a little bit further, so I didn't have to fit as much.
Right, and that's usually a better shot, anyways. Like if you're smooth, and you're usually going to be more accurate.
Yep.
And that disc may even go a little further.
Yeah.
Putting in all that effort is when you mess the angle up.
Yeah, some of my best and farthest throws are the ones that feel the easiest.
Sure. Yeah, I agree completely. That's why this thing right here is the cheater
You're
disc.
throwing it well today.
Yeah,
too.
man. You do not have to. There's no effort in throwing this disc, but it does take finesse. So
That's something I got to work on a lot.
And that's yeah, I at least got that going for me sometimes.
Well, that's one thing that I feel like with the absence of red, RIP.
RIP.
I've lost a lot in my game.
Yeah. Oh man, you're totally right.
Because like when I first started learning to play, it was on red and blue.
Okay.
Blue was like the scary course.
Right. Oh, that's the big course over there.
But it's like in red, you have to have finesse, you have to hit lines, and then you have to scramble too.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like learning. It was great learning all the shorter distance shots, learning the finesse game, learning the scrambling, and then kind of getting away from it and going to my home and native that is Hyndman.
Yeah.
And just throwing big hyzers all over the place.
Yeah.
And then you get back into a place where you got to do a finesse shot. I think that's why I struggled so much at Sherwood.
Sure.
Coming back to it.
That's like our new wooded course.
Yeah.
That's.
And now I'm starting to get used to it and like having those like, touchy zone Anheuser, just slightly pan shots that I struggled with forever.
Yeah.
But now it's starting to be more comfortable because I'm getting a lot more practice.
Right on. So yeah, there's something to say about the old res RIP, the old red RIP.
I don't miss res that much.
Oh,
sorry.
I miss it so.
It's had it.
It's
it
okay.
had
I get it.
Its purpose.
It did. That's the point, right?
Yeah. I wish it wouldn't have been gone, but I'm not. I think about red more than I do res.
Oh, let's get a new res going. Yeah, red was my favorite. Absolutely,
red was
favorite.
Great.
Yeah, it was a course where I knew I could win a tournament on. I went into it with a lot of confidence, as long as I was hitting my lines.
Yeah.
Not being stupid and be like, I think I'm gonna try this disc this time that I've never put in the bag.
Well, red also too was like, you knew that if like out of your hand, you knew if it was a good shot or not.
Yeah.
In that course, it was so cut and dry. Good shot, good result. Bad shot, bad.
And it was
for the most part
how you like woods courses too. There's the fine fairway.
Yes.
And a good size one at that on most. So
yeah. That's my problem with some of them.
Yeah.
And Towering Oaks. I shouldn't oh my goodness.
I want to play that.
I was talking to Mr. Helton. Happy birthday, by the way.
Happy birthday, David Hilton.
About hole freaking 15 at Sherwood.
Uh-huh.
I hate that hole.
15. Yeah, oh God.
I hate it.
Yeah, we were all playing that the other day.
I cannot understand or fathom how anybody can think that there's a legitimate line on that.
Yeah.
There's not. Let me tell you my tournament experience.
Go for it. Because I agree with you. There's not a legitimate line.
There's not. Elijah, he had the box because he parred 14. He goes and he releases it monumentally early. Like barely misses the first available on the left.
Yeah.
And he out of his hand, he goes, oh crap. And then it just goes through everything.
Yeah. Parked it.
close to it.
Close enough.
Yeah, it was like 15 feet.
Birdied, yeah.
Andrew does the same thing, and he goes, "Wow, I guess you just got to release it early."
You just have to mess up.
And I'm third, and I grip lock it, and I grip lock it and throw it up, and so I incidentally take the wide route,
Mm-hmm.
the super wide stalling route, and I put it to like 10 feet.
Nice. All right. So better than the practice round.
Yes,
All
but it
right.
was very lucky. I will say that is one time where I got very lucky on that course.
So,
And then Lucas, poor Lucas,
oh no.
throws the best shot of the entire group, the only one that hits his line, his intentional line, and he smacks one of the trees and then falls down to the bottom of the gully.
Oh, bummer, man.
And
Yeah.
that's why that hole is just, it's ridiculous.
I agree. That one could use a little bit of taking down some of the little trees that honestly just aren't really going to do well anyways because they're surrounded by so many other
Just
trees.
take the small ones out. I don't
Yeah.
mind it.
They yeah, I mean they're saplings, you know, and they're the ones that I'll nail every time.
Yeah.
Like-
Or moving in the short.
Yeah, I do like that short position, but that long one, you're right. I parked it several times playing it, and I kind of knew the shot I wanted to throw. I was throwing an understable fairway, and not hard, you know, just nice and smooth.
Yep.
And from time to time, I would get through that, and I felt like, whew, I'm surprised I made it through.
Yeah. I could throw 10 perfect shots out of my hand, and I'm like, that's perfect. Like, it's the angle, it's the height, it's the speed that I want. And I do not know how many of those are getting through.
Right.
But they're all the same shot.
Right.
And I think that's just not how a hole should be.
And I agree completely. So I think that you know, that could be something that, you know, David does a lot of work out there. I think that
He
could
does
be
a great job out there.
He does, yeah. Happy birthday and thanks for your work. That could be. I think it needs to be revisited.
But yeah, let's work on hole 50.
Yeah, and because there is, dude, if you look too on the right of the fairway, if you go high, there is a legitimate line there, but it's not legitimate because just past that, when you hit that gap to come in on a big tall hyzer angle or high hyzer,
Yep.
has to be a little stall as well. There are limbs up there.
Yep.
If you take those limbs away on another tree, then that's a shot.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
close to being a good hole.
Yeah.
It's just one of those that I tell people this every time I get up to it. Like, if you park it, I will tell you good shot on 17 of the holes on this course. Not that one.
Just a scoff. He'll give you a scoff.
Well, it's not even like you threw it bad. It's just like whether you threw a good shot or not,
Yeah. So it's
you just hit the right dice roll.
you got to get up and tell me what you're doing.
Even if you do it, I don't believe that you meant to get to the basket on that hole.
So yeah,
That's my old man rant.
hey, that's all right. That's a fair rant. Yeah, conversation. We all literally threw I think 3 shots on that hole or something to prove a point. So,
Yeah.
man, imagine if that one was the one that somebody got that took you out of first place.
Oh, dude.
He
Well, if you think about it, that was the difference because I buried that hole.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And that sounds like everybody else did except for Lucas too.
Yeah, who threw the best shot?
That's a bummer.
That's the
That
and
is-
why I feel for him is that's usually where I feel like I'm at. Is I throw the best shot off the tee and I get the worst result.
Yep. In the woods, it can be that way,
Yeah.
right?
And he was
Yeah.
not happy about it.
Oh,
I don't blame him. I don't blame him. It was brutal.
It's a bummer, man. All right. Well, how about we jump into a little bit of PDGA or Disc Golf Pro Tour stuff? Just a
Let's
couple things.
Do it.
And it's I've heard some of this stuff on some other podcasts. I thought maybe we'd bring it up, but also it's just stuff that is going to be talked about until it gets to the point. The Champions Cup, it's
Oh, what a fiasco.
yeah, they're dealing with the pine beetle situation. For those of you that don't know, basically it's before it's a beetle, it needs to have a host to eat, and it bores into pine trees. So at that
Brutal.
yeah, at that larval stage, it's basically you can look at a pine tree and it can look fine, but that inside of that tree might be starting to hollow out
Because it's eating it?
because they're literally nesting and eating in there.
Golly.
And then when they, hatch into the beetle, and then they go do their thing and on to the next one. There's oak borers as well.
Okay. So they're specific to a type of tree.
Yeah, we've got oak borers here in Arkansas.
What
Quite a
causes
bit.
them to be? Do you know what it causes them to gravitate towards one tree or the other? Is it like a certain
You know, that's a
Isn't
good
it?
question. I'm looking that up real quick.
Why is it pine? Why is it oak? Or is
Uh,
it just wherever they originate?
Is that right? Yeah. So yeah, it's the most aggressive borers and pines and attack and develop in all species of yellow pine, eastern white pine, and spruces.
Okay.
So they initially attack the mid and lower trunk, but the infestation spreads up and down the tree over time. Females create S-shaped galleries and deposit eggs along the way. So yeah, they're using them as nesting areas. They're living up in there. It's it's like a project building eventually, and there's really no treatment for that. That's the bad thing. You have to burn it.
Yeah.
To take the tree out, and you got to burn it.
Yeah. Clear cut it.
Yep. And that's what they're having to do at W.R. Jackson. What a
R.I.P.
bummer. Yeah, R.I.P. Got to plant some new ones. And that's a lot of players were apparently loving it being at W.R. Jackson.
Of course, is so beautiful. I'm very thankful that I got to go there this year. That was one of the places that I got to go.
So did you get to play it?
Well, at the time I was very hurt.
Okay.
I had like a weird neck thing going on, so I only threw a few holes.
Yeah.
But I walked it, golly, every day.
Man. Yeah, it looks like my kind of course.
Oh, you would love it, and I would love it too. It's that same style of woods golf that it's like defined fairways.
Yeah.
But beautiful fairways where it's like lined with trees and the fairways is grass. Especially at certain times of the day, you got the sun shining through. It is magical out there.
It looks like it. It's man, and it's John Houck design.
Mm-hmm.
So for those of you that have played Cedar Glades, that's a John Houck.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's
so
cool.
He's apparently really good at. He usually on most of his holes, he'll have like 2 fairways. You know, at some point,
He loves to give you options.
yeah, you've got a couple of options.
Yeah.
And you're right. Like he does I mean, that is a defined fairway. If you're off it, you might be in some trouble.
Yep.
But yeah, it's a bummer for W.R. Jackson. So
Yeah, so the issue with that was then the PDGA, obviously Champions Cup is the first major of the year. It has been. And it's kind of a new major. I don't know how
Like
long
yeah.
Champions Cup has been going on for. At least
maybe 2,
maybe 4?
4. Okay.
Because I know, didn't Dickerson win it a few years back?
Yeah, I think he did.
And then obviously we had the whole fiasco with Paige and Kristen with her daughter.
Oh goodness, that was that
Two-
tournament.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2 years ago. I think Kristen came back and whooped everybody this year.
Yeah, that was great.
And then Isaac, the same year, this last year, showed that he is an absolute killer in majors and in woods golf.
Oh,
He's
dude.
unmatched. Watching that in person was crazy.
Oh,
'Cause
I bet.
I got to, because I worked FPO and then I got to follow MPO.
Nice.
So watching Isaac in person, he was never in any danger of ever hitting a tree.
Yeah.
And some of those gaps are small.
Yeah. God, he's so good at.
It was very impressive. But yeah. Anyways, so they had the unique. I don't think we've ever had an issue like this before with the tournament, where a course pretty much just got completely obliterated and out of their control, and was not going to be available for play next year for that tournament.
Right.
And so I know there was a lot of internal discussion with us and the PDGA, and then the PDGA decided that they were going to put it at the very end of the year.
That's this year, right? They're putting it at the very end.
That was the initial idea.
Okay.
That was initially what they had announced. Was they were going to put it after, I think it was the week after our tour championship.
Okay.
Which is bizarre for so many reasons.
Yeah, I mean, a week after that, for one.
Yeah, like everybody kind of knows that the tour championship is like the culmination.
Right.
Like that's kind of it. And honestly, most people are kind of already over the season by the time the tour championship is there.
Sure. And that puts them in North Carolina, right, for the tour championship.
Yeah,
usually?
for the tour championship. Yeah. And for 2, it's going to be on a brand new course that's never had a tournament played on it.
What course is that?
Well, it would be a new designed one.
Oh, okay.
Because they were gonna. I think the plan was they were gonna take, because there's 3 courses on that property.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was going to ask you that. How many courses?
I forget the names. I think one's Steady Ed. I think one's the Ed for WR. I think there's a Steady Ed course, and then there's another course named after a very prominent figure in the sport.
Okay.
And I think what the plan was however they were gonna have to cut it. They were gonna try to redesign a course out of all those and make a new championship level course for that.
Nice.
So they were going to lose a lot of courses, but then they could kind of keep, their claim to fame there.
Sure.
And keep their big course, the big attraction. Because the thing is at WR, it is the IDGC.
Right. It should stay in Appling, right? So,
yeah, which is like, PDGA's home, basically.
Right.
So it is a very important thing to them, and it is kind of their baby, which is why they were pretty gung-ho on keeping it there for the year.
I understand that.
Yeah, I do too. I think, like my legitimate personal opinion, it's like, why not have it somewhere else, test the new WR at like an exhibition. We could even, I'm speaking completely, like I don't have any idea the talks that were had, but like in theory, we could have an exhibition there.
Yeah.
As like a preseason exhibition or an end of season exhibition or something. So you can get pro tour level players that play the course and test it out, and then you can make the adjustments before a major.
Yeah, this is a major
is played there, and you can get kind of the kinks out of it. But they were very gung ho on it being at the end, and then here recently, they finally said, I think the problem was that the clear cutting started later than they ended.
Okay.
I do not know that, but something in my brain is telling me that. And they decided they were going to move it to Northwood Black, which is the course, it's the toughest.
It's the hardest woods course out there.
Yeah, it's the hardest course on tour that they play for Ledgestone, I believe.
Also looks like a super fun course.
I want to go play that course.
I will let that course whoop my ass all day.
And I don't remember the exact date that they were going to move it to, but was it in between DDO? It was sometime around the DDO time frame.
Okay.
And the problem with that was that intersected with our European stint.
Yeah.
Like, smack dab in the middle of it. So it's like if players were going to want to... And the thing is, we want players to go over to Europe to play.
And a lot of players want to be going over to Europe this next year, it seems like.
Yeah, like we're offering full points so that you're not really like losing out on not playing whatever big event there is in the States. You can also go play Europe, experience that, grow your brand, grow the sport as a whole, and then still not lose track on points at the end of the year.
A lot of people are saying that, Finland is going to be disc golf capital of the world at some point. Like
it's huge out there.
It's massive there.
Yeah. So they were not happy about that. So apparently now the announcement is that they might move in.
Okay.
But I have no idea.
So where's Northwood Black? What state is that in?
Illinois.
Okay.
Peoria.
Yeah, it's in Peoria. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man.
Which, dude, could you imagine 4 rounds on Northwood Black? Oh my God.
Dude. That would be pretty epic to see. I'd be putting my money on Isaac probably. So
who won? Didn't Cole win this year?
Let's see. Right? Dude, I love that dude. He is so good.
He is a cool guy.
Let's see. Who?
I think he did, which is impressive.
I think he did, yeah.
Because I wouldn't, granted, it's way different when you play Eureka Temp and Northwood. But then the other thing, too, that was brought up, I remember hearing people talk about was...
Oh, no, it was Isaac.
Won Ledgestone this year?
Oh, Ledgestone. I thought you were... Yeah.
Okay.
He did. I was thinking of Champions Cup.
Oh, okay.
My fault.
Was if they were going to play 4 rounds at Northwood for Champions Cup, does that mean that we're going to play 4 rounds of Eureka for Ledgestone? Which is a whole other problem.
Yeah, man. Oh, man.
So it's not great. What sucks is that, I don't know any of the talks with the I don't talk to them directly. I don't know what conversations are had, but it's like, man, probably could have figured this out before the schedule was
right. I'm glad that you're here to talk about it because I knew that you would have a good talking point on it. I've listened to a couple of the podcasts. I read a little bit today about it, and you've hit all the things that I was kind of wondering about. So yeah, it's still an unknown at this point.
Yeah, and I know for them, they're probably scurrying because this is obviously not going to plan like how they wanted. So
sure,
it's not ideal for anybody. And obviously, it's easier to. In hindsight's always 20/20, right?
Right.
So it's always easier to say, well, we could have done this, could have done that. But I don't know all the details that are talked about it, but it is a nightmare right now.
Yeah, well, God, I wouldn't, you couldn't have I think it has to be that way in everything, right?
Yeah. Well, and the other problem, too, with Champions Cup being at the end of the year is now the whole entire season is so backloaded.
Sure.
Like, if you look at the front of the season, Champions Cup was really the only saving grace.
Right. Man, I loved it being at the front last year.
I did, too.
Yeah.
I think it is a great
Put a
first
major
major
right
of the
there.
year.
Yeah, I agree.
So to have it put at the end, it's just bizarre.
Maybe they'll figure something out with using all of the courses at the headquarters.
I think they will. I just think it takes time.
Sure.
And that's the thing was I think they didn't want to move it because they love that place. That is like their baby. It's kind of a claim to fame for them too.
Well, it has to be there. Champions Cup. I mean, it's a major, and that's what I'm getting at. Like, I would think that would be at the hub,
Yeah.
So.
But I also think if you take a year apart from it and then come back, it makes it that more special.
Okay. So just not even do it this year.
No, I think what they're doing with taking it to Northwood is the right place.
Okay, cool. Well,
Keep it in the same kind of like a wooded, tough track.
Yeah, it's got to be in the woods.
Yeah, because Champions Cup is kind of like monikered as the wood major.
Sure. It's gotten that way. That's exactly what I was hearing on other talks.
Yeah.
Is that, man, some people thought that maybe Toboggan might be the place for it. It's like, come on, man.
This is a different style of golf.
Yeah.
And I kind of like how the sport is progressing in that way, where like certain majors are kind of known for certain styles of game.
Sure. Yeah. I agree.
I think that's kind of how it should be. And then Worlds is, Worlds is.
Well, that's going to have two. It's going to give you both, right? With
Worlds is going to be sick this year.
That I think Paul's course looks awesome, and apparently this
Blue or Ivy Hills.
Ivy Hill. Yeah, I think it is.
I think
Ivy
is the name
Hills.
of it.
Some ridiculous golf course that they've.
It looks tough.
Yeah, it looks cool.
But it's another one of those. I think if you're gonna do Worlds, I think you gotta have a good mixture of both if you want to find the best player in the world.
Totally agree. Yeah, completely agree.
You can't have one or the other.
Right. So, man, we're at 91. That was really, man, we kind of hit the mark. So
We're freaking good at this.
yeah, man, we were good at this, and that's right. We really didn't want to go over an hour and a half, and we're like 2 minutes over. Dude, I think it was a good one.
I did too.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, man, likewise.
I always enjoy talking disc golf.
Yeah, man, we can talk about this for way longer.
Ever.
We won't do that to you
Forever.
guys unless you want to use us to go to sleep. Look at your bags. Check your disc. It's getting cold. See what you might want to change out.
Do you have any 11-time rocks? Considering putting them up till summer.
These were DX plastic, by the way.
Yeah.
Don't have DX. So, man, you got anything else?
That's it for me.
Well, thank you for having me at your house, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you for the hospitality.
Hopefully it sounded good.
I think, man, we got a couple of folks. My mother actually said it. She said, "Sounds great."
Nice.
Thanks, Deb. And David, of course, our number one fan, is on. Thanks, David. Appreciate you watching, bud. And happy birthday, David Helton. I don't think
Yes.
he's on here right now, but maybe
Happy
he'll listen
birthday.
to the post. We'll have it up on Spotify, and we'll, of course, be here on YouTube Live. Or, well, not anymore. After this,
It'll be up.
it'll be up. Thank you, guys.
Good luck. Don't suck.
Yeah.
That's my moniker, baby.
Don't break any disc, and be kind to yourself, and be kind to others. Later.